Hi, it's Future from Sewmate. Welcome to my channel. If you want to see how I make this beautiful raglan sleeve bodycon dress, please stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do, and make sure to turn on your notification bell so that each time I upload new videos you get notified. You will need your No Dot Bodice block to do this. I've got a tutorial on this channel on how you can make one. I'll leave a link in the description below and a link above as well. So starting with the front, trace around your block like I'm doing. Lift your block. Lengthen your dress to your desired length. I'm using 40 centimeters. Square a line across and square another line down from the hip line. Square in your waistline, and I'm adding my hem allowance 2 centimeters. So I'm going to be lowering my center front neckline by 2 centimeters and widening it by 2 centimeters as well. Just putting in those changes now. With your curved ruler, join in the new neckline. Now adding a seam allowance 0.7 centimeters. Since I'm going to be using a serger, you can use whatever seam allowance you want. And smoothing everything out with a curved ruler. Now from the shoulder seam, we're going to come down 3 centimeters, put a mark. Join this new mark to the armhole notch with a straight line like I'm doing here. Now measure between these 2 points and write the measurement down. Then I'm just gonna put a notch so that I know that this is my front pattern. So we went down 3 centimeters and labeling the pattern, front dress, cut 1 on fold, and I put my initial. So the center front is going to be on fold. And drawing in my grain line parallel to the center front. Adding notches to the pattern and cutting around the pattern. Next, I'm going to be adding a seam allowance to my raglan sleeve style line. I'll be using 7 millimeters since I'm going to be joining this with an overlocker. You can use whatever you want. And transferring notches to the edges and cutting around the pattern. So our front pattern is finished. Now moving to the back. Trace around your block. Lift your block. Lengthen your dress to your desired length like we did with the front. Square across and square down at the hip line like I'm doing. Next, square in your underarm line, waistline, and adding the hem allowance 2 centimeters. Coming to the center back neckline, we're going to lower it down by 1 centimeter and widening it by 2 centimeters. Putting in those changes now. And joining the new curve with the curved ruler. Adding my seam allowance 0.7 millimeters. Measure along the neckline from the shoulder seam 3 centimeters, put a mark, and we're going to join this mark with the first notch with a straight line like I'm doing here. Now measure between these 2 points and write the measurement down. Adding double notches so we know this is the back pattern, and adding a seam allowance 7 millimeters since I'm using a serger. transferring the armhole notches to the edge and labeling the pattern, back dress, cut one on fold, and I put my initial. So we're going to be putting our center back on fold and adding our grain line parallel to the center back. Next, cut around your pattern. And our back pattern is finished. Now we're moving on to the sleeve. Now you will need your basic sleeve block pattern for stable knits. I'll leave a link in the description below and a link above as well. So first trace around your block as usual, making sure to mark all your notches. Lift your block, draw in your grain line and elbow line. Next, extend your grain line further up like I'm doing here. Then draw two parallel lines on each side of the grain line, which are 3 centimeters away from the grain line. So this is 3 centimeters and 3 centimeters. Now get your back dress pattern. Remember the measurement that we took that time, 21 centimeters for me. So I'll be measuring from the notch, the second notch. I'll just put my 21 centimeters on the ruler and just pivot it across until I get to the 3 centimeter line and put a mark. Repeat the same with your front dress pattern. So taking the 21 centimeters on the ruler and pivoting it across to the other 3 centimeter line and put a mark. Then we're going to join these 2 points with a nice curve like I'm doing here, and drawing in our straight lines from the notch to the points like I'm doing here as well. Now adding seam allowances, 7 millimeters for me since I'm using a serger like I used for my dress patterns. Moving the armhole notches across to the edge and labeling the pattern, sleeve, cut one pair and I put my initial. Outlining my notches, and we'll be using our original grain line and cut around the pattern. And our sleeve pattern is finished. Now all our pattern pieces are finished. Now we're moving on to sewing. Moving on to sewing our raglan sleeve dress, what you need are your completed patterns, your fabric and your cutting tools. So for the fabric, I'm using this beautiful stable knit fabric. Now let's start cutting our fabrics. So all our patterns are cut and ready to sew. So the first thing we're going to do is to get our front and back dress, lay them on the table, right sides facing. Now go ahead and match your side seams from the armhole all the way down to the dress hem, and we're just going to go along and pin along both sides from the armhole to the hem. Now take this to your overlocker and sew along your side seams. If you are using a sewing machine, make sure to use a zigzag stitch or any straight stitches on your sewing machine. So I'm gonna put this on the side for now. Next, get your sleeve pieces and fold them back lengthwise like this, matching our underarm seam, and we're going to go along and pin along it. So we take this to the overlocker or sewing machine again and just sew along the underarm seams here. Then we'll be back here. Let's do that for all this. Okay, so that's done. Now we're going to go ahead and attach our sleeves to the dress. So turn your dress to the right side and the sleeves as well. Now fold your dress in such a way that your side seam is going to be in the middle like this, and we're going to go ahead and grab a sleeve piece and make sure you've got the right sleeve for the armhole with the notches. So first we're going to get the underarm seam and align it to the side seam, making sure that we're going to send the seam allowances to opposite directions so that we avoid bulk, and we're going to pin it down. Then we're going to continue pinning until we get to the neckline on each side of the dress. Now repeat same on the other side. Now take this to the sewing machine or overlocker and just sew all the way along this seam here for both sides. If you are using a sewing machine, continue to use a zigzag stitch. Let's do that. Okay, so I finished sewing on the sleeves. So next I'm going to go ahead and finish off the neckline. So I cut myself a strip of 4 centimeters wide, and what I'm going to do is to take this to the overlocker, and I'm just gonna fold this in half lengthwise like this, and I'm going to go ahead and sew it along the edge like this the whole way, making sure that I'll be stretching it a bit as we go. Okay, then when I finish, I'm going to go ahead and understitch it with a twin needle. Then I'm also gonna go ahead and finish off my hems for both the dress and the sleeves. So I'm just going to go ahead and overlock right round and turn the hem under and just do a twin needle stitching for both the dress hem and the sleeve hems. Okay, let's go and do all that. Okay, so I finished off the hems for the dress and the sleeves with twin needle stitching, and it looks nice and neat on both. And I also went ahead and finished off my neckline. I attached the sleeve band and I did the under stitching there with the twin needle as well, and it looks nice and neat, and my dress is finished. Thank you.